What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, the two new upcoming packages, the next infrastructure package, which is part one, and the next stimulus package, which is part two, as well as what is going on in the world today and what is going on in Washington, D.C. today. Today started off with a bang, and not in a good way. Crazy news starting off today, both in the world and in the United States. First off, the president of the country of Haiti was assassinated in his home today. Yeah, and his wife was injured. And President Biden has spoken out and said he condemns this assassination and that action will be taken. He says the United States offers condolences to the people of Haiti, and we stand ready to assist, and we continue to work for a safe and secure Haiti. Yes, not very good news to start. And in addition to this, problems continue here on our home front as Russia continues to hack the United States. A brand new hack on the Republican National Committee, also known as the RNC, has just happened again late last night. As you can see here, hackers associated with the Russian government gained access last week to a contractor for the Republican National Committee. The Republican National Committee said in a statement today. The RNC said its contractor, Synex, had been hacked, but added no access was gained to any RNC data, at least as of yet. Quote, we immediately blocked all access that Synex account to our cloud environment, the RNC's chief of staff. Our team worked with Microsoft to conduct a review of our systems, and after a thorough investigation, no RNC data was accessed. We will continue to work with Microsoft as well as federal law enforcement officials on this matter. The FBI said it is aware of the incident and has no additional comment at this time. The breach would be the second major cyber attack by a Russian network on the U.S. in recent days. A ransomware attack by the Russian language ReEvil gang reportedly struck at least 200 U.S. companies over the weekend and over 1,000 companies worldwide in that most recent attack. President Biden did not say whether the U.S. would retaliate for the attack yet, but he is expected to convene a meeting Wednesday with officials from the state, Justice, and Homeland Security departments, as well as leaders from the intelligence community on the U.S. strategy to counter ransomware attacks. Here is White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki on this most recent hack of the U.S.
Psaki, Jen, great to see you. We'll start right there. What does the president plan to do about these hacking attacks?
Well, Mika, as you just said, we have not yet attributed the attack, the ransomware attack that happened over the course of the last few days. But what's important for people to know is that since the president met with President Putin just a few weeks ago, there have been ongoing high-level, expert-level discussions, conversations about cyber, about ransomware. There's another one next week. And the message that these experts are conveying is exactly what the president said to President Putin, which even if there are criminal actors, even if it's not the Russian government that attacks either our critical infrastructure or our country through cyber attacks, we reserve the option to take action if they won't do it on their own. So the president reserves that option. He's meeting with some of his national security experts this morning to get an update, to have a discussion about ransomware, and we'll see what we learn from there.
So, Jen, if in fact this Russian state actor, Kozyver, who helped infiltrate the DNC in 2016, is responsible for the RNC hack or the attempted RNC hack, how serious of an action is that by Russia, and what will the president do? What will his response be?
Well, Joe, as you just noted in the opening here, we haven't made that assessment. The RNC put out a statement basically saying that that was not exactly what had happened in their assessment. So we're not quite at that point yet. But I will say, broadly speaking, that the president takes cyber activity, malicious cyber activity on any entity in the United States, whether it's the RNC, whether it's other private sector entities, very seriously. And he did not mince words when he met with President Putin and conveyed saying that would not be acceptable. And even if it was not a state-run entity, even if it's an entity that's a criminal actor in Russia, we reserve the right to take action if they don't take action themselves. So those are all options that the president has at his disposal. But again, he's meeting with his national security team this morning, not about the RNC attack, but about cyber in general and about the ransomware attack over the weekend. He'll get an update, and we'll see where we go from there.
There's also new reports that the major ransomware attack on the company Cassia that has over 1,000 companies affected from that attack, they were warned of their flaw in their software in April and did not take any action on that. And there's also new reports that the code in the Russian ransomware like software, that the code is written to avoid computers that use the Russian language and similar Russian languages to not infect Russian computers, so that they basically, quote, they do not want to annoy local authorities, and they know they'll be able to run their business much longer if they do it this way. So basically, they don't want to infect their own Russian computers or their own people, but they're willing to infect United States computers. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on this. I think that this is starting to anger more and more people, and this is starting to anger me more and more too. And I think that President Biden is going to have to take probably a hard stance. I'm not sure what he's going to have to do. Russian President Putin is not cooperating in any sense at this point. I'm not sure what he's going to have to do, but I'm not sure they're going to have to do some type of trade sanctions. They may have to put pressure on their country. We'll have to see what they're going to have to do. But at this point, Russian President Putin is not helping. He's not even agreeing with anything. And it's not stopping. So, in fact, it's getting worse. It personally, to me, seems like that these Russian hackers are trying to hack anything possible that they can. They're just basically scanning for any type of vulnerability in any type of company or even government software or a government entity that they can. So anything that they can hack, that possible, they can. And I think that it's only a matter of time until this continues to happen over and over and over and over. Next up, let's hear from the Problem Solvers Caucus, who has recently come on board to add more support for the physical infrastructure package. And also, remember, the physical infrastructure package and the next stimulus package are kind of tied together for the passing. They're going to talk about that as well as passing these next two packages, and they're calling for a vote with these next two packages. Here is the Problem Solvers Caucus and the passing of these next two packages. Listen to this.
Congressman Fitzpatrick, let me start with the basic question. Have all 29 Republicans in your caucus agreed to vote yes if it reaches the floor?
Yeah, thanks for having us, Chris. We endorsed the package, so our caucus rules are that if 75% of the overall caucus agrees and 50% of each party's members agree, we agree to stand together as a bloc. Now, we endorsed this go-around. We actually had our own plan, the Building Bridges plan, which we endorsed, and that was a substantive framework that we came up with. And what we just endorsed is a statement of support of the Senate plan for a standalone vote, and that's the key here. That's what we want. The bill should be up or down voted based on its own merits, no strings attached.
But as you know, Congressman Gottheimer, Speaker Pelosi said she wouldn't put anything on the floor until the Senate passes both bills. I mean, if you get Republicans, obviously you could lose some Democrats. But it's kind of a risky strategy, I think, on both sides. And I wonder if you've had conversations with Speaker Pelosi about it.
Well, listen, thank you so much for having me, first of all. And it's great to be here with Brian. You know, you're something that's very rare here. Democrats and Republicans in both the House and the Senate actually coming together and agreeing on something. And there's nothing right now more pressing than fixing our nation's infrastructure. So what I believe, and members of the caucus endorsed yesterday, is let's get together, let's get a vote on this package, this bipartisan infrastructure package that the White House has backed and frankly, that we've been working together now for months on. And of course, it doesn't prevent us from doing something further down the road on another package, but we've got great momentum here. The country needs to fix roads, bridges, rail, tunnels, water infrastructure, get energy, clean energy going. This is a great chance to get that done. and I believe we can get it done. So I believe we should get a standalone vote.
But back to the question, which is, have you had a conversation with Nancy Pelosi? Could she derail this?
Well, of course, I'm always in touch with the speaker and let her know that we are working on this, and I'll leave it to you to talk to her. But I'll tell you this, you've got Democrats and Republicans here who are speaking pretty clearly together that this is something that we can get done. And again, this is rare. We've been working on this, as Brian said, with our Senate colleagues, Democrats and Republicans, for months now. We were able to get to an agreement. You saw that President Biden said we should get a bipartisan package done. So I think ultimately, if that's where we get to, we should get a vote done. And I believe we can get it to the floor, and we should get it to the floor.
So, Congressman Fitzpatrick, let me dig a little deeper on this standalone vote. Key to the separate proposal, what some people are calling the second proposal, is expanding child care, fighting climate change. Is there no support in your party for either of those things?
Of course, Chris. I mean, we support those concepts. The question is, what is in the final bill? What does it look like? And is it a product of bipartisan input? Our caucus stands for something very simple, Chris. That is, we believe in two-party solutions. We don't think that one party has a monopoly on good ideas. Just like our families operate, our personal relationships operate, our businesses function. It's the normal, common sense way America wants us to govern. So do we support child care? Do we support protecting our environment? Of course. I was one of two Republicans, Chris, that just supported the House Transportation and Infrastructure bill that was put on the floor. I support both of those concepts very much. But what we're here to announce today is we have a bipartisan agreement in the House and the Senate that the White House supports that should get an up or down vote. This is common sense, and this is what the American people want.
But it may be what the American people want, but when you listen to the leaders of both parties, they sound pretty entrenched. Let me play for you something Mitch McConnell just said.
This is not going to be done on a bipartisan basis. This is going to be a hell of a fight over what this country ought to look like in the future. I don't think we've had a bigger difference of opinion between the two parties over the best thing to do for America than we have right now.
So yeah, as you see there, they have an agreement that's holding on by a thread. That's why they're calling to get a vote here done quickly, because yeah, it's like, yeah, we have an agreement, but we need to get it done quickly before it unravels before you know it. And we're going to find out here quickly if they're going to be voting on this and what House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is going to do. Remember, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, she's in charge of the House of Representatives, so she can do what we've seen Mitch McConnell, who we just seen speak there when he was leader of the Senate. Mitch McConnell, or I'm sorry, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is now the leader of the Senate. Both Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, when you're leader of the House or the Senate, you have that huge power position where you can determine whether a bill even gets voted on or not. And we've seen Mitch McConnell do this so many times, and this is what Nancy Pelosi is threatening to do. We've seen Mitch McConnell do this with the most notable one where he didn't even let it go to a vote for the Cash Act, which was that $1,400 stimulus check that President Trump wanted when he was president back in December. With the second stimulus check that was $600, President Trump, who was president at the time, said, this was after the election actually, he said, these $600 stimulus checks need to be more. They need to be $2,000. Make them more. And then Nancy Pelosi said, okay, great. They passed them in the House. Then they actually had Republican support there. Both Republicans and Democrats voted on it, passed it. It was just a standalone bill for $1,400, and they sent it over to the Senate. And Mitch McConnell, being the leader of the Senate at the time, didn't even let it go to a vote. He sent it to his graveyard and never voted on it. And it was a bill with nothing else, simply just a $1,400 stimulus check. It would have been the third stimulus check. And then days later, they went to that Georgia Senate runoff race, and the Republicans lost control of the Senate. And I remember saying to you guys, as this happened, I go, first of all, why is he not letting this go to a vote? If he doesn't believe in a $1,400 third stimulus check, he can simply vote no, but let it go to a vote, and let's see if there should be a third stimulus check. And they didn't even let it go to a vote. I remember saying there was enough support for it. And we would have actually gotten 3 stimulus checks underneath former President Donald Trump at the time. Well, Mitch McConnell didn't even let it go to a vote, even though a Republican president, Trump, wanted the stimulus check. He didn't even let it go to a vote. He went against his own Republican president. And President Biden came in and gave us that $1,400 stimulus check anyways. Okay. So we got that $1,400 stimulus check anyways, although we probably missed out on an extra stimulus check because we would have gotten those three underneath Trump. And then Biden would have came in, and we know that Biden would have passed one coming in relatively quickly. We know that Biden wouldn't have came in and passed no stimulus checks at all. I mean, we wouldn't have seen 3 underneath Trump and 0 underneath Biden. I mean, let's be realistic here. So we probably missed out on a full $1,400 stimulus check, probably because of one man, Mitch McConnell. You can let me know if you think differently. That's my thoughts. I mean, it passed the House, and we had a Republican president calling for it. The House passed it with Republican support, and yeah, we missed out on that full stimulus check because of that power position being the Senate Majority Leader or the House Speaker. So Nancy Pelosi's kind of saying a similar type of scenario here that, yeah, they can pass the physical infrastructure package, but if they don't pass the next stimulus package as well and send them both over to the House, that she's not going to vote on the physical infrastructure package until they send over both passed. So what she's saying here is that they need to pass both in the Senate, send them both over to the House, and then she will let them both be voted on at the same time. They can't really be voted on at the same time. You have to vote on one and then you vote on the other, but you can vote on them back to back, right? But what she's saying is that she's at least at this point, unless she changes her mind, she doesn't want to have the physical infrastructure package voted on in the House. And this is her right. She can do this. And we've seen Mitch McConnell go against his own president. So Nancy Pelosi can go against her own president, President Biden, if she determines so. And this is why some people say that the leader of the House of Representatives or the leader of the Senate, in some cases, can be more powerful than a president because they have control over an entire branch, a House of Representatives or Senate. They can basically send a bill to die. Even if a president wants it passed and the other branch wants it passed, if that one particular person is against it, and we see this most notably with that $1,400 cash act, the president wanted it. President Trump, when he was president, the House of Representatives wanted it, and the majority of the Senate wanted it, but Mitch McConnell didn't want it. So everybody wanted it except for Mitch McConnell. And it didn't pass. It didn't even get voted on in the Senate. So Nancy Pelosi's saying, listen, I'm willing to vote on and pass the physical infrastructure package, but I'm not going to let it get voted on. You guys can pass it in the Senate, send it over to the House, and I'm going to just slide it over into my graveyard. And it's just going to sit there temporarily until you also pass the next stimulus package. I know you're going to pass it through the reconciliation process. We've seen that Republican interviewed there at the end. She's saying, are you even in favor of any of these things in the next stimulus package, like childcare? It was the one thing that she singled out there. He said, oh yeah, we're in favor of a couple of those things, but we know that no Republicans are going to vote yes on it. So it's kind of a catch-22, a double-edged sword question there, because we know that probably no Republicans are going to vote yes on this because no Republicans voted yes on the third stimulus check package. So they're probably not going to vote yes on the fourth stimulus check package either. But Nancy Pelosi is kind of putting an insurance policy on this next stimulus package, saying that the Senate's going to have to pass both. But it's kind of weird to me because the next stimulus package is going to be passed with the reconciliation process, which is the process that means that the stimulus package is going to be passed through reconciliation, which means that only Democrats are going to pass it. So she doesn't really need to worry about Republicans. She only really needs to worry about her own party and people like Senator Joe Manchin, who already said he's going to vote yes on this next package. He just needs to see what's in the package, and they need to negotiate amongst their own party. So I really don't see a big deal if they do pass the physical infrastructure package first. So we'll have to see if she changed her mind, but this is kind of the current situation we're dealing with right now. These are all the current things that are currently up for grabs in the next stimulus package, a fourth stimulus check or possible monthly recurring stimulus checks that are separate from the child tax credit monthly stimulus checks. It's not just stimulus checks for child or for children. Those are the child tax credits. So those are already passed for 1 year. They're looking to expand those till 2025 or even permanently, but it's not just that, okay? A fourth stimulus check and possible monthly recurring stimulus checks for everybody that qualifies for the third stimulus check is the most likely scenario when it comes to eligibility for a fourth stimulus check are on the block, in addition to the child tax credits. So when you think of a stimulus checks or monthly checks or fourth stimulus check, there's a fourth stimulus check on the block, as in a single stimulus check. There's also monthly recurring stimulus checks on the block or up for negotiations, as well as the monthly checks called the child tax credits. Those are only passed for 1 year. Those are starting on July 15th. $250 to $300 per month. And those are only passed for 1 year. They want to extend those till 2025 or even permanently. None of these items, these 23 to 24 items on this list here, are 100% certain that they will be or will not be in this next package. So any one of these items could be or could not be included. There's not a single thing that is 100% positive yes or 100% positive no. Not even Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer could say 100% positive that it will be or will not be included. Everything is up for negotiation. And we've seen this from the third stimulus check package when they added in this $10,200 unemployment credit. Literally after the House of Representatives passed, they passed the bill in the House, and then the Senate added that provision in after the House passed their version. That wasn't even included in the House's version. They added that in after the fact. It wasn't even in the House's bill. So things can be added in literally up until the last moment. And also when we go back to the second stimulus check, that bill originally didn't even have a stimulus check in there, and they added that stimulus check in there 6 days before they passed the bill. It was the last thing added in. And again, negotiations came. They originally had that stimulus package announced, and there was no stimulus check in there. It had money for states and cities, and money for vaccines, and money for all sorts of other things, but not a stimulus check. And the outcry and the pouring of support and the pushing from you guys, emailing, tweeting, calling your senators, calling your representatives, signing petitions, led to them adding in a stimulus check 6 days before the second stimulus check package. So all these things in there are up for negotiations for this next stimulus package. And these next days will be the interesting part. We're going to see what's going to go in there. And remember, literally up until the day they pass, both the House, the Senate, and the President sign it, everything's up for grab. Remember that third stimulus check package, they signed it in the House. They passed it in the House, sent it to the Senate, and the Senate changed it. They added in that $10,200 unemployment tax break. They lowered the income threshold for the third stimulus check from $100,000 for a single filer and down to $80,000 income eligibility. Added in that $10,200 unemployment tax break, and they removed the $15 an hour minimum wage provision because it didn't pass. They didn't have enough votes. So they can literally change things even after they've passed one of the House or the Senate. So that just goes to show you that it ain't over until it literally passes both the House, the Senate, and the President signs it. The second stimulus check package almost got changed after they passed both. Remember, the House signed it, or the House passed it, the Senate passed it, and then President Trump, who was president at the time, saying he wasn't going to sign this. I remember seeing that, and I go, what? He's not going to sign it? What are you talking about? And he said, yeah, the stimulus checks need to be higher. And I remember seeing your guys' comments before I actually seen the news. And I go, what are you guys talking about? He's got to sign it. We've been talking about this for months. And he goes, no, he wants the stimulus checks to be higher. And I go, what? That'll send us into negotiations again. We got to just sign this. And eventually he did sign it. But yeah, we almost had to go through it again. Luckily, he just signed it, and then they tried to pass that Cash Act. I thought it was going to pass, but Mitch McConnell kind of sent that to his graveyard. But that just goes to show you that anything can be changed up until the last minute. And that's why anybody that tells you that there's no stimulus check or they heard that somebody so-and-so said that this won't be included in the next package, they don't know what they're talking about, because literally everything is up for negotiation. It can be, or it can be excluded up until the last moment. So I will keep you up to date with everything. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe down below. New videos come out here on our channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure to share this video with your friends and family so they know what is going on. I will keep you up to date. You can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. This bottom video is stimulus checks that are going out in July, August, and September through various stimulus check programs. And this video teaches you how to start your own business through the Amazon FBA program. I have dozens of students that have replaced their 9-to-5 income by selling products on Amazon FBA, and I teach them how to do that. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.